Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in for this paranormal pit stop. Tonight, we'll be adventuring to a remote beach on the western shores of the Hawaiian island of Kauai that sits as the westernmost point that's publicly accessible across the whole of the islands. That's bounds are miles from the closest town, Kekaha, and that can only be reached by a roughly maintained dirt sugarcane road, measuring in at 15 miles in length, marking it as one of the longest beaches in Hawaii, and shrouded in a host of ancient legends and claims of encounters with the supernatural. Are you prepared to brave the history and hauntings of Polihale Beach? Historically, in ancient times, the region of Polihale was populated sparsely, with evidence of earlier life found within caves and nearby valleys. And in traditional lore, the site itself would act as a place from which it is believed souls departed, resulting in countless burials amongst its dunes. A popular tale intertwining with history tells of the ruins of the Polihale Heiau, which is one of the oldest and most sacred sites on the islands, and of Chief Polihale, whose name it bears. As this story goes, Polihale would raise a daughter whose beauty was unparalleled, so much so that when she came of age, she was pursued by the first of the four Polynesian gods to arrive in Kauai, a deity by the name of Ku, who obsessively sought her affections. To be more close to his heart's desire, Ku would take the form of a friendly white dog, and would spend his days playing with the chief's daughter and her maidens as they bathed and swam in a pond not far away. When eventually his closeness failed to sate his appetite, Ku would approach Polihale and would ask for his daughter's hand. The chief would reject his request, however. Ku would become angry and threaten to kill Polihale's people, and following this confrontation, the god would assume the form of a vicious black dog and would begin hunting down innocent locals. Realizing that as a mortal he was outmatched, Polihale would pray to Kane and Kanaloa, begging that they save the community he so loved. And just as all seemed lost, the sky broke, revealing two mighty seabirds that were most certainly the deities manifested. It's told these massive avians cut down to the earth in a flash and defeated Ku, saving Polihale's people, while allowing the chief's rule to see a new day. While the expanse of its base is namely covered in sand, with the rest of the structure coated in foliage, this prestigious heiau remains to date, standing as testament to the island's history and also to one faithful leader long since passed. Sadly, through December of 2008, heavy flooding would incur damages to the site's access road, and fearing what impact it might have on an economy namely based off said site, rather than waiting on the government, local businesses and residents would band together to clear the drive. On March 23rd of 2009, many of the same volunteers and then some would officiate projects aimed at redeveloping the road as a whole, and the entirety of the task would be completed just 8 days following. While this road remains into the present, as locals put it, it likes four-wheel drive vehicles much better than smaller cars. And as a warning, if it's raining, nothing but four-wheel drive vehicles should be utilized on this route, if that, based on best judgment. In the present, Polihale Beach offers running cold water, restroom facilities, semi-private showers, and a few pavilions, though it is advised visitors prepare and bring along adequate food, water, and sunscreen or portable shading options, and be wary that there are no stores, lifeguards, or medical facilities near, and that the heat can get quite intense. As an added warning, the shore along Polihale is crazy rough, and as such is not safe for standard beach activities such as snorkeling, surfing, and whatnot. The shoreline also drops off very quickly, rip currents are all but common, and for these reasons, swimming is only allowed at the Queen's Pond toward the park's southern end. Quite classically, the whole of this prominent beach site is rumored to be haunted by ghosts tied to the many who've lived and died near, by the restless spirits of those whose homes, burial sites, and sacred lands have since been disturbed, and is also believed to be stalked by beings straight from ancient legend, with those frequenting the area reporting strange lights sighted floating over the waters and in the skies above, disembodied voices heard when no one else is around, and footprints that appear in the sand as if someone invisible is walking near. Sadly, access to the beach, its dunes, and the associated state park have often been prohibited following bouts of desecration, vandalism, and the like, and incidentally, several who've broken onto the site during said times with less than savory intentions have actually reported being chased out by a shadowy manifestation that, chillingly, followed them back to their homes. Additionally, this being has been known to scratch, hit, and even bite beachgoers who are showing disrespect to the lands. As mentioned prior, Hawaiian belief dictates that the cliffs at the end of the beach were a jumping point for the spirits leaving our world, after which they would join their ancestors in the afterlife, and it was believed that those who lacked family to welcome them would be stuck wandering the shore, attaching themselves to rocks and various objects, and causing mischief. Reported across the site are objects spied moving on their own, orbs and strange forms captured in photography, the constant feelings of being watched or followed, and encounters with apparitions in clothing spanning back to ancient times. Another popular story tells of an incident in 1877, during which a young boy died, and a priest was called to offer burial permissions for his parents to inter the child amongst the sand dunes. The boy's small frame was laid out and inspected. However, after several days, it refused to begin the process of decomposition. On the 5th day, the boy let out a tremendous sigh and sat bolt upright, staring wildly about for moments, before explaining that his soul had left his body and had traveled to Polihale, ready to depart from its cliffs, but that his was turned back, after which he was forced to travel through the spirit world until he reached his own body again. Lastly, and creeping its way into most of our Hawaii lists, like many of the island's other legendary locales, Polihale is thought to be roamed by the night marchers, or the brutal spirits of ancient Hawaiian warriors, who march through the nights along sacred paths, announcing their presences with the pounding of drums, the blowing of conch shells, and with blood-curdling cries, while searching for any living foolish enough to remain in their path by way of torchlight. As lore has it, if one perceives incoming marchers, they should never disturb the processions or make eye contact with any among the ghostly troop, and should immediately lay face down on the ground, motionless, with their eyes shut until the marchers pass. As it's told, these ancient warriors have the ability to reap one's soul in the blink of an eye, and incredibly, on several occasions, those local to the island caught by the marchers have actually been spared, as among their ranks stand ancestral family members from years past who've recognized their kin, and who have been known to so much as impart bits of knowledge and wisdom upon their descendant bloodline before disappearing into the darkness. The marchers at Polihale are submerged in a more tragic tale, as theirs tell that night after night they march to avenge a battle fought ages ago, after which they'll make their way to the cliffs to take the final leap into the next world. Thanks for joining us on this paranormal pit stop. If you enjoyed our histories and ghost stories, subscribe to our channel, like this upload, and share us with anyone you feel deserves a good scare. We'll catch you all next time.